Good evening and welcome to News Watch. It is the 24th of May 2021. Thank you for joining us as we look at stories making headlines in the country, including the revival of BBI debate, as all eyes now turn towards the Court of Appeal, even as Lady Justice Martha Koome takes full control of the judiciary at a time backlog of cases and judiciary funding have rocked the third arm of the government. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tony Omondi and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's now begin our broadcast. Kenya's new Chief Justice Martha Koome has officially assumed office after being handed the instruments of power in a historic event at the Supreme Court of Kenya. The Chief Justice has vowed to end the issue of case backlog by ensuring that no case remains in the justice system for longer than 3 years at any given time. This, she said, will be a continuation of retired CJ David Maraga's tenure, which focused on ensuring that all cases above 5 years in all courts are concluded. In the event, calls to increase judiciary funding dominated the speeches, with speakers calling for the executive to increase budgetary allocation to the third arm of government. Our reporter, Dolly Murege, begins our broadcast.
Chief Justice Martha Koome assumed the office of the Chief Justice on Monday in a historic event held at the Supreme Court in Nairobi. During the ceremony, Koome received 2 reports of the state of the judiciary and a flag of the Supreme Court. The instrument of power handed to the newly appointed Chief Justice, judiciary emblem and a status report on initiatives by the judiciary.
This is the report that the retired CJ David Maraga presented to the acting CJ then.
Speaking after being handed the instrument of power by Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, Koome pledged to build an efficient judicial chain to benefit all Kenyans.
We are still grappling with unacceptably high levels of case backlog, despite the efforts of the last 10 years that had significantly reduced the number of old cases. Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga's tenure focused on all courts concluding all cases that were 5 years old and above. We will continue that trajectory and ensure that at any given time, no case should be in the justice system for longer than 3 years.
Koome reiterated that her vision is to have justice accessible, transparent, and safeguard judicial independence. She further pledged to mainstream technology in court systems as part of measures to ensure efficient delivery of justice.
Having served as the chair of the NCAJ Special Task Force on Children Matters, I understand too well the importance of the NCAJ in providing collaboration and coordination of the justice sector. I have spoken about the importance of a registration to anchor NCAJ in a statute that creates a structured mechanism for the cooperation and coordination among interbranch actors involved in the justice chain.
Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, who served as acting Chief Justice for a period of 162 days, assured Koome of her support, saying she's ready to assist whenever called upon.
I shall undertake all legitimate and lawful assignments that you might assign me. More importantly, I shall strictly stay on my constitutional lane. I shall help you to do the right thing if you require me to assist you.
The judiciary has previously been at loggerheads with the executive, mostly over funding issues that former Chief Justice David Maraga raised time and again. In a speech, Chief Justice Martha Koome called for more funding to the judiciary during budgetary allocation to ensure a seamless process of expediting justice to Kenyans.
With our independent fund in place, we can leverage resources from our partners interested in the administration of justice to respond to the needs of Kenyans. All coins, ladies and gentlemen, have 2 sides. And as I celebrate the tenacity and hard work of some of our officers and staff, I cannot be bribed to those whose actions bring all of us down. I recognize corruption is endemic and problematic in 2 main ways. First, there are many corruption cases that are pending in our courts, And this has largely lowered the perception of the judiciary. And in this regard, the judiciary, which happens to be at the end of the chain link of justice, is regarded as the parking lot of corruption cases.
Former Chief Justice David Maraga, who graced the ceremony, urged Koome to always consult God in all her undertakings.
You go to a very demanding office, extremely demanding, but you are up to it. And as I said, I know you are a prayerful woman. When you pray, you will get things sorted out.
Among those who attended the Assumption of Office event were first female magistrate Effie Owuor, judges of the Supreme Court, Attorney General Kihara Kariuki, Director of Public Prosecution Nurdin Haji, and Law Society of Kenya President Nelson Havi. On his part, Attorney General Kihara Kariuki assured the judiciary of executive supports.
His Excellency and indeed the government is committed to working with you, to supporting you and the judiciary. And the expectation of all Kenyans is that the judiciary will dispense justice.
Chief Justice, we know you as a jurist. We know you as a mother. We know you as a wife. We know you as a judge. And we know you as a brother, a sister to all these judges and everybody else. We know that this country has given power to not only a jurist, but a very balanced person, a friendly person, a prayerful woman, and an administrator.
Koome, who took her oath of office last Friday, vowed to protect the independence of the judiciary. Though Koome is first female Chief Justice in Kenya, at least 22 other African countries have had a female Chief Justice before, including Benin, Ghana, and Burundi. As Lady Justice Martha Karambu Koome assumes office of the Chief Justice, one of the key roles she has played is in the fight of the second liberation in the regime of President Daniel Moi. Dolly Mirigi for Hope TV from the Supreme Court of Kenya.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has presided over the reopening of the Kenya Meat Commission (KMC) after months of refurbishment by the Kenya Defence Forces. The president has applauded the KDF for reviving the commission, saying the government's decision to transfer the meat processor to the Ministry of Defence was aimed at salvaging the livestock sector, which is a mainstay for millions of Kenyans. The head of state has directed state agencies, among them the police training colleges, National Youth Service (NYS), and the Kenya prisons, to source their meat requirements from KMC. Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua, Defence CS Dr. Monica Juma, and Chief of Defence Forces General Robert Kiboshi also spoke at the reopening ceremony.
And we are very pleased as Machakos County for the revival of this Kenya Meat Commission. This is an example of work that needs to be done and a project that makes us very happy. It is a pity, Your Excellency, that you have to start reviving things that should be operating. In Kenya, we've become a country where we build things and we squander them, then they have to be revived again. But we're very glad that you've been able to take this move to revive them. And we're very pleased also that we're able to provide employment. All the employees who are in this KMC before are still working here. They are not fired.
Excellency, when the KMC was transferred to us from the Ministry of Agriculture, and following your strategic guidance for us to turn it around, we went to work. A transition team was stood that undertook a comprehensive civil works, repairs and maintenance of the factory in readiness for full operation that you have launched today. We also embarked immediately on development of a business plan that will drive this facility back into a profitable and sustainable enterprise in line with your guidance for a turnaround strategy of the Commission. So far, Your Excellency, we have taken stock of all the inventory of the Commission's physical assets and equipment across the country for the purpose of accountability and most importantly, to safeguard these assets. Among the most critical challenges is the encroachment on the KMC lands, Your Excellency. But I can also confirm, sir, the Commission's business reorganization plan has kicked off in earnest, starting with offsetting all the pending payments owed to the Commission to farmers.
If you are aware, this factory where we are at has been in the doldrums for many decades. And recognizing that millions of Kenyans derive their livelihood from the livestock sector and the important role that the Commission played in this sector, I took the initiative to revitalize this Commission. Further, when we were making this decision to revitalize KMC, we also took into account that the Commission was once a true mark of progress and quality. The factory, however, was left to lie in ruins. The revival of this factory, under the auspices of DOD, is significant to our livestock sector, for this is the mainstay of at least half of our population. And without doubt, and as we know, this sector has enormous local but also export potential. As I indicated earlier, the sector is a source of livelihood for millions of Kenyans, and the market forces out there have not always lived up to their expectations, especially in times of drought, and therefore it is necessary, and it was necessary, to have government involved as a driver, together with existing private sector players, so that we could create a scenario where there could be some consistency and predictability in the livestock sector, and so that the perpetual low prices that our farmers were getting, especially during periods of drought, when they most need the market, are regularized.
Religious leaders under the Dialogue Reference Group, DRG, have faulted politicians and leaders who castigated the High Court for annulling the Building Bridges Initiative, BBI, saying the court was performing its constitutional duties. Speaking on the state of affairs in the country, the DRG called on leaders in the country to respect the judiciary and other independent institutions. The Dialogue Reference Group decried that the course of the BBI has changed over time, saying its initial plan was to bring peace and ensure harmony while resolving historical injustices. At the same time, the religious leaders have raised concern with the credibility and constitution of the IEBC, calling for quick processes to select and appoint commissioners so that the constitutional body can perform its mandate effectively. Alice Diana tells us more.
The Dialogue Reference Group, which consists the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya EAK, Hindu Council of Kenya, Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, National Council of Churches of Kenya NCCK, Organization of African Instituted Churches and the Seventh-day Adventist Church, has urged all public officers and political leaders to respect the different institutions. The group, which addressed the press on Monday at Ufungamano House in Nairobi, said the attacks on the 5-judge bench of the High Court that declared BBI process as unconstitutional were unnecessary, noting that it is not good for the nation when there is a sense of discord between the three arms of the government.
These attacks should have never have happened, for no organ of state should be vivified for executing its mandate. Even when we are not satisfied with the ruling, we must always respect the judiciary and follow the due process of appeal that is provided for in law.
The group has called for national dialogue so as to address the underlying causes of conflict and violence in the country and recommended the development of a legal framework for the national dialogue process that complies with the Constitution.
What should concern all of us as Kenyans is that the condition of the necessitated by handshake and BBI still remain. The feeling of exclusion, the unresolved historical injustices, toxic politics, and endemic political-driven ethnic divisions have been heightened. For this reason, we reiterate the proposal we made in 2018 that a national dialogue process be initiated to provide Kenyans a platform to express themselves and agree how to move forward together.
On the preparation of the 2022 general election, the National Dialogue Group noted that the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) continues to suffer from a serious case of leadership and credibility crisis. The group has called upon the IEBC to begin making the necessary preparations and to communicate the same to Kenyans so as to enhance trust and confidence.
The preparations should include transparent appointment of electoral officers at all levels, public procurement of elections-related materials, setting up of elections management results, civic education, and on its part, we call upon the Parliament to urgently finalize the development and enactment of the various laws that touch on elections.
The leaders have at the same time congratulated Lady Justice Martha Koome upon her appointment as the 15th Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, saying they hope that the new leadership will do all what is possible to enhance access by Kenyans to justice. For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Alice Diana.
The Ministry of Education has postponed the Form 1 selection exercise that was set to take place on May 28th this year. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha, who was speaking at the Joseph Kang'ethe Primary School in Nairobi, said the exercise has been pushed to June 15th but did not give a reason for the postponement, saying there is no cause for alarm. Meanwhile, the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education 2020 KCSE candidates will now know the universities and colleges they've been selected to by the end of July 2021.
Form 1 selection is going to commence soon, and we shall announce to the public by about the 15th of June. And I want to further explain that there is no cause for alarm because we shall place every child 100% transition. Every child will go to the high school. I also want to politely ask the people who are barraging me with requests that I get my orders from one person, and that person is His Excellency the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and I think I work with him well enough. Right now my orders are that I make sure that those children who are very poor but are very intelligent, their chances at the Kenya high schools of this world, the alliances of this world, is guaranteed. And so I will be taking part in the selection myself. We have to stop this thinking that we just crop the second best and leave the creme de la creme because there is nobody to speak for them. So students don't have to have any stress. Accordingly, I wish to announce the division of the choices for the placement to degree, diploma, artisan, and craft courses, which will commence today. So that revision is for everything. It is not for universities alone. Disabuse, I hope I'm speaking your mind. The way the Africans say, I hope I'm speaking your mind. Consequently, I have directed COOPS to open its system for the 2020 KCSE cohort to review and, if they so wish, make changes to the courses that they selected through their schools. Candidates who are not able to apply in school will use this opportunity to submit their choices. All applicants will know the universities, colleges that they have been selected to by the end of July 2021. This will enable our higher education institutions to admit the students in the new academic year. By higher education institutions, I don't mean universities alone.
Away from that, a tussle in Nyandarua County Assembly is brewing between Nyandarua's embattled Speaker Ndegwa Wahome and Deputy Speaker Zachary Njeru on who will swear in to reward elected member Francis Muraya. Speaking to this press, Deputy Speaker Zachary Njeru said the law is clear and as is right now, he as the Deputy Speaker should assume full responsibility in the absence of the Speaker. On the other hand, Wahome maintains he's still the Speaker and the one who is supposed to swear in the newly elected member of County Assembly. Ndegwa's leadership ran into headwinds following a 5-month tussle with MCAs who have accused him of mismanagement of county funds, nepotism and corruption. His attempts to return to the office, when reinstated by the court, have been thwarted, with MCAs allied to Governor Francis Kimemia and the police blocking him. Deputy Speaker Zachary Njeru said they are waiting for the Gazette notice by IEBC to kick off plans to swear in the MCA-elect. Last Tuesday, Nakuru High Court Judge Professor Joel Ngugi reinstated Wahome for the 4th time until a case is filed opposing his impeachment is heard and determined.
Those issues that has been going around, those issues from the Bush Telegraph, that it is only so-and-so who can swear in Honorable Muraya. I wish to state that the law is very clear. The office of the Speaker of Nyandarua County have never been vacant, and the law indicates that Article 178(2)(b and the County Assembly Service Act states that in the absence of the Speaker, emanating from whichever circumstance, whether absence, whether impeachment, or any other reason, the Deputy Speaker takes charge in full capacity as the Speaker. In any eventuality that the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker are not there, we have 4 members from the Speaker's panel who takes or assumes the roles and the office of the Speaker. And equally, in eventuality that the members of the Speaker's panel are not allowed because of any circumstance, the members of the County Assembly, as provided by the County Assembly Service Act, are free to elect one of their own and to carry out all the roles of the office of the Speaker.
For a staff or member of staff in the County Assembly of Nyandarua, either to be promoted or be given position, must be compromised. And this one is in the public domain, and actually, especially to the female staff in the County Assembly of Nyandarua, these are things that even the feeder themselves should come and investigate more on what we are saying here, without even belaboring what entailed in that allegation. So therefore, these are the things that we are requesting the Office of the DCIO and the EACC to come and investigate. And I personally, as the majority leader of the County Assembly of Nyandarua, I'll take the files to these offices, because already we have done so. It is in the public domain. The impeachment motion is capture all the allegations, but still we find that the DCIO and the EACC have never investigated this matter. So we are urging the 2 directorates to go in depth and fight this.
The Orange Democratic Movement ODM party leader Raila Odinga has conducted an extensive tour within Kisumu County ahead of President Uhuru Kenyatta's visit during the upcoming Madaraka Day. Raila, who addressed impromptu rallies in Kondele and Kisumu's main bus park, assured his supporters that the quest to institute constitutional amendments through the BBI is still on course, despite the High Court ruling that declared it null and void. Our very own Dickens Levanda brings us this report.
ODM party leader Raila Odinga is touring his home turf, the lakeside city of Kisumu, ahead of President Uhuru Kenyatta's visit at the end of this week. The 2 leaders are expected to unveil several handshake projects in Kisumu as the county hosts this year's Madaraka Day celebrations on Tuesday, June 1st.
To inform the people how to behave during Madaraka Day, to enjoy Madaraka, but at the same time not put ourselves in danger of COVID. It's good Madaraka is here, but we must understand that it's here in the midst of COVID. So don't do anything to jeopardize your life just because Madaraka is here.
Odinga's tour also seeks to cement the political cracks witnessed in the ODM party in the larger Nyanza region as part of the efforts to ensure that President Kenyatta does not walk into a hostile crowd.
Yangu ni kuwauliza wenzangu, tafadhali muisome na tafadhali muiunge mkono.
Following claims of betrayal over the BBI process that has run into a brick wall. Speaking in the Luo dialect, Odinga addressed impromptu rallies in Kondele and Kisumu main bus park and later at the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium, where he maintained that the constitutional review process under the BBI is still on course. Raila had been accompanied by Kisumu county leaders led by Governor Anyang' Nyong'o and his deputy Matthews Owili, where he asked Kenyans who support the BBI process not to be worried about the court decision to stop the initiative as the case heads to the appellate court. Raila had earlier on Monday met ODM leaders from the county and MCAs at a closed-door meeting at the Sunset Hotel, where he noted that a formidable team of lawyers have been put in place to ensure the appeal succeeds.
I am prepared to sign a charter with the people of this coast region on what needs to be delivered on our economic blueprint.
Over the weekend, Deputy President William Ruto toured Mombasa, where he met his political allies and strategists as he seeks to cement his support in the region, an area where Odinga has been receiving overwhelming support over the past years. Deacon Luvanda, Hope TV News Watch.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, has sounded an alarm over what it terms as increased complaints related to abuse of office, embezzlement and misappropriation of funds, bribery, breach of trust and tax evasions in the SACCO sector. EACC Chairman Dr. Eliud Obukala has warned the SACCO society sector players against corruption and unethical practices in the multi-billion shilling sector. According to the chair, in fulfilling its mandates, the commission received and analyzed 372 complaints touching on cooperative societies from the year 2013 to 2020.
We do corruption prevention. This is what we are doing. But also we do investigation, prosecution, as you always know. I was saying that in the last maybe 3 years, we have had to process over 1,000 cases. And within that, we have managed to take about 275 to court. And within that, we have had a conviction of 169, so that people have been jailed or cases have been concluded. But what I wanted to mention there was that we also do asset recovery. We also make sure that those who have stolen do not benefit from what they have stolen. So we recover. We also go out to take what we call unexplained wealth. When it's noted that somebody's salary does not relate with what he or she owns, and that person is unable to explain the extra money that they have, then EACC goes for it. And now, as we talk, there are several cases. I've had a very favorable jurisprudence where the courts have actually sided with us, and that kind of money is being recovered. So, in addition to preventive activities like what we are doing today, we also go for enforcement and the returning of the property that is taken. In terms of assets, we can talk of over 25 billion. And in terms of disruption, we have done about 30.4 billion disrupting the networks that are going to steal the resources.
Let's now look at the COVID-19 statistics. The country has recorded 111 new COVID-19 cases from a sample size of 1,948 tested in the last 24 hours, bringing the positivity rate to 5.7%. The total number of confirmed cases in the country now stands at 168,500. 543. Of the new cases, 108 are Kenyans, while 3 are foreigners. 142 patients have recovered from the disease, with 137 coming from the home-based care program, while 5 have been discharged from various hospitals. Total recoveries now stand at 114,679. 14 deaths have also been reported in the last 24 hours, all of them being late death reports arising after conducting facility record audits within the last 1 month. This now brings the cumulative number of fatalities in the country to 3,073. In terms of admissions, 1,086 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities, while 4,770 patients are under the home-based isolation and care program. 121 patients are in the ICU, 25 of whom are on ventilator support and 68 on supplemental oxygen. Of course, we'll be back with more stories making headlines in the country. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Newswatch. The United Democratic Alliance, UDA party that is associated with Deputy President William Ruto, has now welcomed the move by Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria-led People's Empowerment Party, PEP, to withdraw from the upcoming by-election in Kiambaa constituency and Muguga ward in Kabete, Kiambu County. In a statement by UDA Secretary General Veronica Maina, the party said the withdrawal by PEP was out of goodwill following UDA's move to support them in the Juja constituency by-election. Veronica Maina in the statement has also clarified that the UDA party is neither Johnson Muthama's party nor is it managed by sitting MPs, as claimed by Moses Kuria when he announced the withdrawal of the PEP candidate. UDA unveiled its candidates for the upcoming Muguga ward and Kiambaa constituency by-election last Friday. And about 15,000 residents from Leshao, Pondo and Kirita wards in Nyandarua County are set to benefit from access to clean piped water. According to Water Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki, piping and distribution of the pipes is underway across the 2 wards, and the project is scheduled to be completed in 2 weeks' time. The water supply is drawn from both the Muti Omwe Bohol and the Leshao Karogoine water projects. She observed that this being the second phase of the water project, the contractor is undertaking water reticulation. Speaking at Aberdare Teachers Training College during an inspection tour of the project, the CS said the plan will be reviewed to enhance reticulation in order to ensure the distribution is increased to serve more than 50,000 households.
Mradi vile mnaujua ni mradi umekaa zaidi ya miaka 40. Mradi vile mnaujua ni mradi umekaa zaidi ya miaka 45 from 1975. Haijawahi kuanza na wakaji wa hapa wameumia sana na amekuwa na hamu ya kugoja maji. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru waziri wetu na Mheshimiwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta kwa kukumbuka watu wa Reshau Karagoini.
Today I'm happy to note that the main works have been completed and the reticulation work will be completed in the coming 2 weeks. It is a project which is very dear to the people of this area, and that is why you can see the turnout and the excitement. While on it, I have also commissioned a borehole in a place called Motiomwe, which again is serving 2,000 households in that particular area, which again is part of this sub-county.
Right, we do apologize for that technical hitch there. Still in Nyandarua County, residents from Gatumbiro village in Old Jororok constituency, Nyandarua have protested over the rising cases of human-wildlife conflicts occasioned by marauding hippos straying from Lake Old Bolosat. The protest came after a 55-year-old man was on Thursday morning attacked and seriously injured by hippos and is now recuperating at the Nyahururu County and Referral Hospital. Samuel Wambo Kimani was attacked early in the morning, some hundred of meters from his home as he went on his daily activities. He made frantic efforts to escape, but one of the hippos herding in a nearby farm pounced on him, injuring his left shoulder and leg. Following the incident, residents have complained that despite their numerous calls to the government and the Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS, to intervene, nothing has been forthcoming.
Nimebomoa hiyo mashamba. Shamba kwanza fence, nimechibua mtaro futi 3 kwa 2 na yote inabomoa inaingia kwa shamba. Imebomoa sengenge, imebomoa shamba, mahindi ilikuwa imefika kiwango ya kufika kwa waste. So nimeshangaa hata ukienda kwa shamba, hata hayo watu walipotas wakienda kwa shamba, tunaweza kuwatuma kwa ile serikali inatuangalia. Sababu hakuna serikali ya county inatuangalia. Tumejaribu kuteta kwa watu wa KWS. Sisi tukigusa hiyo mnyama, tumegusa ile mahali mbaya.
Kata mara 28 kwa shamba. Inakuja inarokota viazi, inarokota kila kitu kwa shamba. Mtu anajaribu kupiga kelele wapi? Guu inakufuata tu. Sasa tuko na shida. Hii shida nani atatuoka hii shida hii? Sasa angalia sisi tuko na njaa kabisa, njaa imeingia sasa. Na hakuna mahindi yenye kwa shamba.
Kula shamba hata ukipanda boga inakula yote. Inakula sasa, inakula mzee hako hapa chini. Sasa niliuliza tutaka wapi kwa sababu hii mzee saa hiyo guo ilikuja nikiwa nje. Saa hiyo iluma hiyo mzee. Sasa tunataka kuuliza tutaka nchi gani? Ukijaga hii mboma, hii kuta hii unaweka inakuja inapomoa. Sasa tutaka wapi? Inakata hata hii sengenge.
Let's now look at some international news. A volcanic eruption in eastern Congo left a smoking trail of destruction half a mile wide on Sunday that buried hundreds of houses and left residents searching for missing loved ones before halting just miles to the city of Goma. At least 15 deaths have been confirmed, but the number is likely to rise as officials reach the hardest hit areas. More than 170 children are feared to be missing and 150 others had been separated from their families, according to UNICEF, which said centers will be set up to help unaccompanied minors. Mount Nyiragongo is one of the world's most active volcanoes, but there were concerns that its activity had not been properly observed by the Goma Volcano Observatory since the World Bank cut funding amid allegations of corruption. And in India, the number of deaths linked to COVID-19 has moved past the 300,000 mark as the country continues to grapple with the pandemic. Experts warn that the real number of fatalities might be much higher as many deaths are not officially recorded. India has recorded 26 million cases, second only to the US, and is now the epicenter of the global pandemic. The country is also the third in the world to record more than 300,000 deaths behind the US and Brazil. A deadly second wave in recent weeks has overwhelmed the country's healthcare system, with hospitals struggling to cope with the influx of patients and with critical drugs and oxygen running out. Nearly half of India's virus deaths occurred in the last 3 months. In the last 26 days alone, the country has recorded 102,533 COVID-19 deaths. And in Ethiopia, the United States is imposing wide-ranging restrictions on economic and security assistance over the conflict in the Tigray region. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also announced visa restrictions on Ethiopian and Eritrean officials and others who are accused of atrocities. Blinken stressed that international action was needed to help solve the crisis and said those involved had taken no meaningful steps to end the hostilities. Thousands of people have been killed and many more displaced since the conflict began 6 months ago. Earlier on Sunday, the Ethiopian government dismissed allegations that civilians in the war-hit Tigray region were targeted with chemical weapons by the Ethiopian or Eritrean armies. Let's take another short break on news. When we come back, we'll be looking at business and sports news.
From country music, classical quartet harmonics,
now I'm a child,
homecoming series,
for he saved the worst among
tent revival, many more.
I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside.
Watch these great musical adventures on The Bill Gaither Show, featuring Gaither Vocal Band, Linda Randall,
For the God on the mountain,
and many other series like the Alaskan Cruise. These gospel favorites, recorded in front of beautiful sceneries, guaranteed to rejuvenate your love for gospel music. Bill Gaither Show, only on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back. Let's continue with business. SACCO's umbrella organization, Cusco, now wants public institutions compelled to release withheld deductions, now standing at 4.3 billion shillings to enable SACCOs survive the hard economic times brought by the COVID-19. The Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperatives Limited, Cusco Managing Director George Ototo said ministries, parastatals and private employers must release the funds to improve cash flow to enable SACCOs respond to demand by members. The leaders spoke at an annual general meeting where Western regional directors were elected.
We kept informing SACCOs to continue lending short-term because the economic conditions were quite uncertain. As a result of that, our members kept on being served. And what we keep on telling SACCOs as well is to continue serving members with the resources that they have.
Encouraged our primary SACCOs to ensure they observe
the governance in their circles, that at any one time, their circles should be able to serve their members what is expected of them. And in the event, we have had the leaders elected in the primary circles. We have encouraged them to seek training from Cusco, which will guide them on how to manage the funds of members and how to serve the same members.
Absa Bank Kenya has kicked off a countrywide initiative that will support 46 special needs schools with repurposed school bags and reusable masks. In alignment with the bank's sustainability and corporate citizenship agenda, the bank will be donating over 4,000 school bags and 20,000 reusable face masks countrywide. Speaking during the handover event at Joseph Kang'ethe School, Absa's Managing Director Jeremy Awori reaffirmed the bank's commitment to help alleviate socioeconomic challenges that communities face due to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Many of you know we have also partnered with Eliud Kipchoge, and we know his mantra that no human is limited. And this is also really a reflection of why we're here today. So today we are at a ceremonial function where we are donating 4,000 school bags and 20,000 reusable face masks for children across the country. And we're proud that we've worked so well with the ministry. This will cover 46 schools. So we took over 3,000 kilos of plastic waste and worked with entrepreneurs to recycle to make those 4,000 bags. If I can, maybe if I could take this opportunity, firstly, to thank again the Ministry of Education under the able leadership of Professor Magoha for his partnership with us. We continue to enjoy this partnership. We work very, very well, not just with the ministry, but also with teachers who we give significant loans and facilities and banking services across the country. We work with the TSC very closely and will continue to do so. We've worked with the Association of the Physically Disabled of Kenya, APDK, and we wanted to support them and their businesses. And we partnered with Bombolulu in Mombasa. And as many of you know, Bombolulu has, among others, some physically challenged, some people who are facing very difficult situations, many women, widows. And what we did is we have worked with them on commercial basis to upgrade the quality of their mask production, to reduce the cost, and to increase the volume of sales. So we've specifically purposed them to make masks specifically for those physically challenged and for children.
We had 7.5 million masks, and we said the masks will be manufactured as we demand them. I want to thank everyone, including Absa Bank, for helping us to return to the accelerated calendar, which opened schools on the 10th of May. And I wish to inform the country that all learners reported to their respective schools. And even here, you can see, looking at these two, even though those are Absa masks, eh? They are wearing them properly. The ones who are there were wearing masks.
Many of you know we have also partnered with Eliud Kipchoge, and we know his mantra that no human is limited.
And some sports news now. The Kenya National Rally Championship KNRC Premier Class driver Eric Bengi believes that majority of local drivers hoping to debut in next month's WRC Safari Rally Kenya will savor an experience of a lifetime. The World Rally Championship is making a comeback in the country after 19 years, with most of the drivers taking part in this event for the first time. Elsewhere in the FKF Premier League, KCB capitalized on Tusker and AFC Leopards slip up to go on to top of the table after thrashing Bandari 3-0 at Italy grounds over the weekend. Joseph Maingi has the sports update.
With the countdown for the World Rally Championship, the Safari Rally lapsing, most Kenyan drivers are eagerly awaiting for the action that is making a comeback after 19 years. Kenya National Rally Champions Premier Classic driver Eric Bengi believes that a majority of local drivers hoping to debut for next month's WRC Safari Rally Kenya will savour an experience of a lifetime. Carl Flash Tundo and Rai siblings Onka and Trejvia will drive a VW Polo R5 cars, which are a step below the WLC supercar in the event that is financially partnered by the Kenya Commercial Bank. Bengi will drive a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo X and will be navigated by Peter Mutuma.
There's a lot of exchange that we need to learn even from these people. How do they drive, how they prepare their teams, how their teams are organized, and so on and so forth. So for that, to me, it's a big plus. Secondly, in terms of how prepared we are, yes, we are ready for it. It is in a month's time. This car, as much as it looks like it's in a shell, it will be pretty much together way before then. Yes, as drivers, we never get to feel much of that type of sponsorship because it doesn't translate directly to us. But it is well deserved. It is a good job that they do for us, and they have kept us motoring throughout.
Bengi is also excited that his car is homologated and passed the test required by the world governing body, FIA. In the Kenya Premier League, Kenya Commercial Bank yesterday thumped Bandari 3-0 to dislodge Tusker from the summit of the Football Kenya Federation Premier League table. David Timeo, Haron Thomas and substitute Derek Otanga were banker scorers in the entertaining clash staged at the Utalii grounds in Nairobi. Tusker, who were held 1-1 draw by Wazito at the same venue on Friday, dropped to the second on the log with 35 points, one behind the bankers, while Bandari sit on the fifth post with 27 points. And various leagues in Europe yesterday closed the 2020-2021 season, with various teams securing the title for this season's campaign. In France, Lille claimed a narrow victory against Angers to finish 1 point ahead of Paris Saint-Germain and clinch their fourth title of the French Ligue 1. Jonathan Davis netted an early goal and Burak Yilmaz doubled Lille's lead from the spot on the stroke of half-time. In England, Manchester City forward Sergio Kun Aguero said goodbye in style as his double off the bench in the final match for the club helped them celebrate the Premier League title success in style with a 5-0 thrashing over Everton at the Etihad yesterday. In Italy, Ashley Young, Christian Eriksen and Romelu Lukaku all scored as Inter celebrated their Serie A title with the final day rout against Udinese on Saturday. Antonio Conte's Inter finished with 91 points and 89 goals, their second and third best Serie A record respectively. In Germany, Bayern Munich's Robert Lewandowski scored the last minute of the season to break Gerd Muller's 49-year record of the Bundesliga goals in a campaign. Lewandowski looked poised to be frustrated but pounced in the 90th minute for his 41st goal of the season. The Poland striker now has 53 goals in 46 games for the club and the country heading into the Euro 2020. And finally, in Spain, Atletico Madrid were crowned La Liga champions for the first time since 2014 on Saturday as veteran striker Luis Suarez scored the winner in a 2-1 victory over Valladolid. Fellow title chaser Real Madrid beat Villarreal 2-1, but that was not enough to overhaul a 2-point deficit. Well, that's your sports. I'm Joseph Maingi.
Well, that report there brings us to the end of this live broadcast of News Watch. Many thanks for staying with us. See you next time. I'm Tony Omondi, our sign language interpreter. Has been Boniface Murithi. Have a good night. God bless.